It's warm today.
I know. Somebody must have put the delirium in the pot.
Maybe. Turn it on.
Hasn't been like this since the start, has it?
No.
Oh, he's a star, isn't he?
Isn't he just?
Ooh. Ooh.
Recycle?
Mm-hmm.
I'll pass.
It's better than the urine recycle.
It's true.
If you're here long enough.
You don't want to know.
Good afternoon. Hopefully it is as hot where you are when this is going out as it is right here when we're filming it. Thank you for coming back and joining us again. We are Maybe Movies, and my name is Max.
I am Sam. And I'm Chris.
And every month we pick a couple of great films, pull them apart, put them back together again, and see what we're left with.
Yeah.
We're about halfway through the month. This has been a bit different this month, as we've ended up doing this over 6 shows instead of our usual 7. And if you were with us last week, you would have seen that we managed to pretty well, kind of almost surgically create a new version of Predator without the Predator, but instead with a displaced tribe of Zulu warriors.
I think it worked.
It did.
It did work. Oh, it definitely worked, yeah.
Before we look at the second film that we're going to be making, which is our new version of Zulu with a now displaced Predator, which is going to be called The Great White Hunted. Just going to do a quick shout out, as we tend to do. And today our shout out is for an old friend, is for Artscape Adventures by Lisa. It might be with Lisa. I'm sure she'll forgive me. Lisa's been a friend for a while. She does a variety of content. Most of her content at the moment seems to be a lot of ambient sort of meditation music, relaxing kind of waterfall sounds, and all those kind of lovely things.
Lovely, relaxing stuff.
Yes, like this. Exactly like this. Which I tend to use a lot because my head never stops. So thank you, Lisa, for all your support, and do check out her channel. It's awesome.
Yeah.
What I think I'll do, just because I know we've got quite a lot to get on with, so I will do it now before we start, as we've started doing, on not on every episode, just on the occasional one, but we will just have a quick word from our sponsors. And the sponsor for this video is us. Maybe Movies is part of the Zadrum channel, which is part of Zadrum, a small business that I started in 2016 to bring the works of 3 generations of writer to a new reading audience. This was kind of like a side project which has taken off and taken on a life of its own, which is fantastic. So at the moment we have 3 books out, one by each of our authors. The first of which, and the one that really kind of started the whole thing off, is Verboten, which was written by my grandfather under his pseudonym Sidney Esmond and was published in 1940. Like a lot of my grandfather's early books, they were written during and set against the backdrop of World War II. And this one is about Harry Deller, an English schoolteacher who, on an exchange programme in Germany, finds himself having to cope with allegations of espionage by the local Gestapo at the start of the Second World War. We then have The Refugees from Daffodil Cottage, which was the only work published by my father during his lifetime, and it's a children's book, kind of pitched perfectly for children of 7 or 8 years over. It has similarities to things like Watership Down, with a little bit of The Animals of Farthing Wood, and I think one reviewer said that it had just a smattering of Animal Farm in there as well. And then we have Book of Squalor, which is my own entry into our list of titles at the moment. It's a collection of short horror fiction comprising some prose, some poetry, and even a short screenplay as well. All 3 of the books are available as paperback or as ebooks, either from our Zadrum website, a link in the description below, or also from Amazon as well. But of course, if you are going to buy, then please do come and buy from our shop, because that way you'll know that we're going to get more of the money than Amazon will, and maybe we can just stop Jeff Bezos destroying Lord of the Rings any more than he already has. Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, thank you for listening, and now back to the show. Thank you to him, me, my clone, I don't know. But yes, obviously, if you are a regular to the channel, thank you as always for your support. Please don't forget to watch the video as much as you can, because we kind of need the watch hours, and share the video if you can. If you are new to the channel, thank you for checking us out, and please do watch to the end, because
It's rude not to.
I was hoping that somebody else would jump in there, but right. Anyway, the Great White Hunted.
Yes.
How are we doing with this? Oh, one more thing I suppose we do need to say before we go any further. The most important thing of all, 3 stars for me so far.
2 for me so far. 2.
How do we see? I mean, are we saying that the opening is going to be the same?
I feel like it should be relatively the same, because, I mean, it's not just the opening of the movie, it's meeting the cast, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
And I mean, what a cast it is. I mean, didn't you say before? I'm sure. I must admit, I hadn't realised as well that on this it says introducing Michael Caine, doesn't it?
As indeed, introducing Michael Caine, yeah.
And of course, you've got the ever wonderful PatrickMagee in there as well as the surgeon.
Of course, yes, yeah, amazing.
Yes, Clockwork Orange guy.
Yes.
When I recognised that.
And the Amicus Tales from the Crypt.
Yes, and of course he's the kind of one of the cult leaders, isn't he? In Hawk the Slayer.
Of course he is. Yes,
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yes, he is. Of course he is.
Ugly one.
Try the wine.
Oh dear, we should have to rename ourselves the PatrickMagee fan club. I mean, I don't know what ideas you guys had. I didn't know, is the Predator kind of shadowing the Zulu army and just going where they're going?
I was kind of thinking that.
Something like that, yeah. The thought in my head is that he's not going after the Zulus just because he's already got trophies from the Zulus.
Mm-hmm.
I figured, so that's why he's not attacking the Zulus, but he's following their trail of carnage, because obviously there's something interesting going on.
Of course. I mean, I did wonder, with the whole opening sequence, when they go to... So obviously you see the bit where you've got the Zulus moving through the devastation after Isanawa.
Yes.
And they're picking up the guns and things like that. Do we want to slip in that one of them... Oh, yeah. That one of them discovers an English soldier that's obviously not been killed by a Zulu? Because as I think I said in the pitch meeting, we have the option here of writing in some that they've got legends of this thing.
Yes. Well, why not? Why not? Because they are the sort of the type of primitive civilization that the Predator seems to go near to.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that they might have encountered him before.
So, what, you're saying the Predator wants something that they've got? Or
Not so much that, it's just I think it's they notice that...
If they see a soldier that's been killed by something that's clearly not one of their spears, they might go, "Ooh, it's the such and such."
Okay.
Which they've got legends of appearing occasionally. So that would then, just because I thought, when you get the messenger turns up at the Chechewaya's camp,
Yeah.
that's also part of the message that he's bringing, that the demon from the sky is back, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we lack a character like Anna to have that story with. We need to show it to the audience somehow that they got some sort of knowledge of it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're introducing the British military now at this point, and we're showing all the characters of them.
Yeah, like them trying to build the bridge and all of those.
Yeah.
Getting to know the characters. By the way, I'm going to point this out now because I know I'll forget it later on. I don't know if you noticed, but one of the soldiers is a Swissman, but everybody calls him Dutchie.
Is that the one that was hugging the lamb?
No, it's
No,
the one.
no.
It's the one with the big walking stick. He keeps lumping people with his walking stick.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't help but notice that and just go, aha!
I missed that earlier. I did wonder though if, again, kind of like who might also be our Billy in this, Arnendorf. Mm-hmm. Is the obviously he's Boer.
He's familiar with the land.
Yeah, but also he could again serve as that kind of Anna foil as well.
Maybe having heard the stories from the natives as well. Yeah, it's a possibility we could bring that in.
What do we think then about this? When we first meet Michael Caine, and he's off doing his hunting, and obviously he's taking some really terrible shots at that leopard.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a little bit too early for him to have a telescopic sight. But do we want to just stop in a moment where he's kind of like trying to sight up the leopard as it's moving away, and there's just a distortion? Oh, that's a bit strange.
Some sort of camouflage going on for glitch.
Like, I don't know. It might be too early, but it seems
Do you mean early in the days?
It's when we first meet Michael Caine when he's out hunting. Yeah, it's just he thinks he spots something, probably confuses it as heat haze or something.
Would it be a scope on his rifle?
He wouldn't have one because it's too early.
Right. Okay.
They wouldn't have had
binoculars.
Chard has binoculars.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's how he spots the riders coming in.
So we can drop it in there. It seemed like a nice, just little foreshadowing there.
Like, maybe he'll check his binocular lenses to make sure. They seem to be a bit smudged here. I'm going to give it a polish.
Yeah, we could do that.
So he wouldn't recognise it for what it is. He'd think there's a smudge on his lens or something.
Yeah. And in the same way as Predator, he's like, you could pause the video and you can spend ages staring and you probably wouldn't see anything.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So they're building the bridge. They get the notification that the column moving in through Sanawa has been attacked and destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure, again, as we work through it, we'll come to this. I mean, I know we said that those events are still happening around them. Do we think we're going to see then later in the film, are we going to see the Zulus attack, or are we just limiting the attack to the Predator?
In my mind, it's more a case of, obviously, it requires a longer timeline that the Zulus get there later, but that's when the movie ends, is actually when the Zulus arrive to attack, but obviously the station has been devastated.
That's cool. Are you good with that?
Yeah, fine with that, yeah.
By the way, I must say that it's a wonderful t-shirt you're wearing.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sure the lads from Red Letter Media would much appreciate it.
If you're watching...
Unlikely.
You've got to put a reference now to a Neil Breen movie.
Everyone loves Neil Breen.
They do.
We've got our main cast, obviously. We've got Bromhead, we've got Chard, we've got Arnendorf, Colour Sergeant Bourne, that's his name.
Yeah.
So most of the first act is going to be very similar. At what point do we want the Predator to attack?
Can I interject? Can I just ask, did you mention the missionary and the daughter as well?
Yes.
They're here. They're with us in this one as well.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Sorry.
Going from the beginning, they're there when they get the message about the attack and this kind of thing. He'll be able to understand what they're talking about, this demon from the sky or something like that.
Just to go back, instead of the Predator following the Zulus, maybe he hitches a ride on their wagon. Because they leg it as soon as they realise the fight's about to happen, don't they? And go straight back to the encampment.
That's
I like it.
Do we then want to have anything like I know we don't see a lot of them travelling on the way back. It's just we see them and then when they arrive.
Yeah.
But that kind of sense that they feel a presence with them,
or maybe just like the wagon is rocking unusually, like it's overweighted, and they're like, "What's wrong with it?" We'll have to get the cart right to take a look at it when we get back to the station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because then it can jump off at anywhere along the
And
way.
that means it's getting to see what we're seeing, so we're sort of we can put in like some of its vision of observing people as well.
That's kind of quite nice because you'd also see like a shot of the back of the wagon as it's heading across the savannah, and then again just that weird distortion on the back of the wagon.
I like it. Yeah, that's good.
I think for me the first important part in this act, I think, is when they send the scouts up onto the escarpment, because that's the first time any of the men get isolated from the group.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I made a note of that as well.
I'm sure that the Predator is going to take an opportunity to get a bit up close and maybe grab a trophy.
Yeah, definitely.
Both of those guys have integral parts to play later in the film. I mean, obviously,
that's Owen and
the other guy who I always recognise from Carry On.
Yes,
he's in a lot of the Carry On films. The guy who's got a thing for animal husbandry.
Yes, that one's Owen. I can't remember the other ones. Is he one of the Joneses?
He's either one of the Joneses. I think he might be an Evans.
Yes,
because he's the guy who leads.
There are multiple Joneses, multiple Evanses.
Yeah, but obviously he's the guy who leads the singing
the singing later on.
When they do the Men of Harlech. I did think about that again, looking later on down the line. I mean, with the Stampede, rather than have it being purely serendipitous because he doesn't lock the thing properly, if we want to include it in there later in the film, we can make it a deliberate action.
Considering the thing that they're facing, I kind of want to make it deliberate.
Cool. So if we lose...
Because it would give them a bit more agency in what's going on.
So if we lose him...
If we lose Owen...
It's no big loss.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Somebody has to go down. There are lots of soldiers here. Somebody needs to be the first kill.
We did miss one very important thing, though, which is the stuff at the beginning, whereby we have Richard Burton saying this is the legend of about what happened historically at Rouke's Drift, but some people tell a different story.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would suggest, just to keep things nice and tight, we don't give away too much too early with this, that maybe Owen just, there's that bit when they're marching and they're marching backwards and forwards, and it's just one of those times, Ewan, whatever, turns around and he's just gone. He's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe he might find a spot of blood on the grass or something, but that'd be it. Just gone. We don't need to see him die.
His hat, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Which
will then drive him back to the camp, because he won't want to stay up there on his own. Was it Owens, isn't it? Owens is gone.
Yeah. And they're going to assume that the Zulus have arrived.
We were a little bit vague. I mean, I double-checked it because I watched it again earlier. So, turning over the wagons, which is where I'd originally sort of suggested calling Act 1, is at 54 minutes.
Yes.
And then the warriors on the hill, Zulus on the hill, is at 1 hour and 5.
Yeah, no, you were right.
That was the turning point for me. It was like, up until that point, they can get in and go.
Yeah.
As soon as they do that, they are committed.
And it's that action. He takes that deliberate action. You want the wagons, do you? Right.
Yeah.
It's a deliberate choice.
It's a shame, because I loved your idea about it being hidden in the back of their wagon, because there's their little carriage is the one thing that they don't overturn.
It's right, yeah, because they send them away on it, don't they?
Yeah, because it would have been a shame if they had overturned it and the Predator was still in the back. That would have been a brilliant way to have... It just bursts out of the thing. We don't see it. We just see this thing camouflaged, leaping out of the thing, killing a few people and then disappearing off. Unfortunately, we'll have to do it this way. Which makes more sense in line with the Predator.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to show its hand until it's absolutely necessary.
Fantastic. I think that's...
That drives us up to the end of that first act, because between that and the desertion of that column of cavalrymen, that's the impetus that makes them tip over the cannon wagons and really commit to their defence.
Stevenson... Who's Stevenson?
Sorry.
I've just put Stevenson, then an arrow, and then something else out there. I don't know what else.
I can't remember which one Stevenson is.
No, neither can I.
There's so many names in that film.
Doesn't matter. We are in... I mean, unless you have anything else you would like to add to
No, I don't think so. I think that was pretty much tip-top.
Fantastic.
Well, there we have it. That's the first act.
And we have our first kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we need
very
to
much needed.
Do we need to keep the kill counter going for this one, or are we happy that it's just for the other one?
I don't know. I'm kind of tempted.
I'm quite tempted.
It's not the best thing. Unfortunately, I don't have the facility to have a nice little rolling counter on the things. I'm having to kind of do things a bit by spit and sawdust.
Well, that's work.
But I'll do what I can. We are very quickly to the end of Act 1, and we will be back on Wednesday as normal at 4 o'clock UK time, with Act 2 of The Great White Hunted. As always, until then, have a great weekend, have a brilliant start to next week, and we will see you on Wednesday.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Bye-bye now.
Ba 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 ba.